It's day one of the 61st edition of the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey as the riders make their way over 144.2 kilometers from the beautiful seaside resort of Çeşme to the historic site of Selçuk. It's 23 teams in total getting set to do battle over 8 days in total. 1,133 kilometers complete across the balance of the week for the riders, and 157 riders arriving to do battle in pursuit of glory in what has become one of the most prestigious races in Europe and Asia on the UCI Pro Tour over recent years. UCI Pro Series 2.1 series event, and the first stage presenting as one likely to be for the sprinters. The parkour, the shape of the stage suggesting that it's going to be a challenge for the breakaway to stay away, challenge too for the climbers to get involved, and the sprinters flexing their fast twitchers. That's as they would like at any rate. 27 nations in total represented in amongst the 23 teams. 3 of those squads at World Tour level, 14 at Pro Team level. And from the earliest stages, as you would expect, flag in and they're underway. And the first of 8 days begins with an immediate attack from some of the lower ranked teams in the local continental Division 3 registered squads. Want to showcase their ability and ensure that they show the jersey up front. My name is Declan Quigley. I'm joined by former Irish national road race champion Imogen Cotter to run the rule over the riders throughout the week. And Imogen, no surprise really that there's an early bid for that early breakaway from the local squads.
Yeah, exactly. And in a race that was, you know, that's bound to end in a sprint, it's not unusual to see a break go, but this break looks like it's set up to be something special and quite competitive. You've got Michał Pomorski taking the KOM sprint early on, and back to the Peloton, they built up a gap of about 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Michał Pomorski taking the Treasures of Türkiye intermediate sprint along the way, having, as Imogen has mentioned, taken those King of the Mountains points early on in the stage. So clearly the young Polish rider, 22 years young and absolutely flying. He's proving to be a powerhouse in this 5-rider breakaway that has detached itself from the peloton. Maximum lead of 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and that's slowly surely being whittled away by the main peloton. The group assembling out front, including Özkan Kalbim from the Sportoto cycling team. One of 3 Turkish riders in the breakaway, including Doğan, Halil Abrim Doğan from the Mulya Büyük Şehir squad. Konya Büyük Şehir as well, another team represented by Ahmet Kan Akpinar. And the other 2 riders in the breakaway, Mual Girmay, the Eritrean with the Istanbul team, and the aforementioned ATT Investments rider Michał Pomorski. Byron Munton will be trying to keep his powder dry as best he possibly can. He'll be looking forward to the climbs to come on stages 3 and 6. 2 GC appointments for the riders through the week. For the riders in amongst that team. Well, up the front of the peloton, noticeable, Imogen, that it's the Alpecin Premier Tech squad doing an awful lot of the pacemaking on the front.
Yeah, Alpecin Premier Tech, obviously with their sprint hopeful Simon Dehairs, but they are joined as well by some of the Picnic Post NL riders. So both teams keen to bring that break back, and you can see that they brought it down already by about 1.5 minutes. So they're working hard together.
Yeah, paring back that advantage. Picnic Post NL joining in. They've got Casper van Uden, fine sprinter, the rider who's been to this race 12 months previously, and he'll look to see what he can possibly produce. The 24-year-old Dutchman looking to try and secure the Team Picnic Post NL's first victory of the season. It's been a very long and agonizing and extended drought for this World Tour registered team.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. They're kind of building up their development teams again, or their development pathways, and Casper van Uden is a great example of that. I mean, he's only 23 and already won a World Tour stage at the Giro last year, so definitely one to watch for today's sprint finish.
Yeah, the Alpecin Premier Tech squad, by contrast, have had plenty of victories so far this season, flying high. And They are also contributing to the pacemaking in pursuit of this 5-rider group. At the back is Gourmet. It's a familiar surname, isn't it? Moël Gourmet is a younger brother of, 21-year-old indeed, younger brother of the World Tour star that is Biniam Gourmet. Not Gourmet. Istanbul team represented in the break today. 2 Eritreans in their lineup. And down in amongst the sultry surroundings as the riders sort of wind and twist their way along the Aegean coast and head towards a conclusion today in the historic surroundings of Selçuk. A wonderful, remarkable part of the world, isn't it? It's just dripping with history and culture and heritage, and just so many different layers of history have been laid out in and around this particular this region of Turkey, and indeed Selçuk in a very specific sense.
Yeah, and those beautiful historic landmarks will serve as a backdrop for the Treasures of Türkiye white jersey to be contested this week, which is going to be awarded at iconic sites and landmarks throughout Turkey along our route, which mainly goes along the coast and then heads into Ankara for the final stage, stage 7, or stage 8, sorry.
Yeah, first visit back to the nation's capital in 26 years. That'll be stage 8. That'll be the concluding stanza of this 8-stage event coming next Sunday. Before that, they've got plenty of different topography. No time trial in this one, so it tends to leave the issue in doubt for an extended period of time. We do, though, have 2 summit finishes coming up, as I mentioned, on stages 3 and 6. The third stage, a race to Kiran from Marmaris. Relatively short stage, was just 132.5 kilometers, but that final ramp up after an earlier climbing expedition is going to be challenging and instructive, and give us a good idea of who's going to challenge for overall honours, and that'll be rubber stamped really by the ride from Antalya to Fezlican at the end of stage 6. Again, even shorter stage for standard 28 kilometers. Mountain stage is short, always makes things interesting. Crowds out in force, always a great welcome in Turkey. This event running since the mid-1960s. It began as the Marmaris Tour in 1963, and then in 1965 it became an international event, no longer just for local riders, and the international element of it has continued through to today, and took on this presidential status a couple of years after that, but since the mid-1960s has been solidified as an important vehicle for emerging Turkish racing cyclists, and also a wonderful opportunity for the local authorities to showcase the beauty of the region.
Yeah, and it was a World Tour race from 2017 to 2019, and now it's a pro race, but still attracting some World Tour teams. So we have Alpecin Premier Tech, Picnic Post NL and XDS Astana as our World Tour teams in this race. And you can see Team Flanders Baloise pulling on the front here again.
Advantage down to just over a minute with 34 kilometres remaining, and Team Flanders Baloise, as you mentioned, have decided to throw their hat into the ring. They're involved in the chase as well. 3 different teams represented on the front. The 5 riders from the breakaway group, as they see their advantage start to dwindle. Still 5 involved, and starting to miss a turn or two on the front is Oz Kalbim from the Sportauto cycling team. But the man on the front, Pomorski, he's hardly missed a trick all day. He's looked very strong. Yeah,
he was taking a lot of pulls and really setting the pace for this team. And I think it's a reason why the break has been a bit slow in coming down, actually. That gap has stayed, you know, up at around a minute for quite a while. So I think he's pulling a lot on the front. And you can see here that a rider from Sportauto getting a bit of extra motivation from the team car just to keep that break going.
Yeah, Oscar getting just a little bit of extra G up from the team car, a little bit of extra motivation. I think he needs it. Like I said, he's missed a turn or two of late, and just being appraised of the specifics of the upcoming topography, and just try and hang in there. We've got a couple of climbs coming up. If you can get over those, you'll be okay through to the end of the day. Always assuming that the breakaway survives. That looks increasingly less likely, it has to be said. 32, well, almost 33 kilometres, and it's just an advantage of a minute. Surely not enough. The World Tour squads, Alpecin Premier Tech and Team Picnic Post NL, in the company of Pro Team level, Pro Series level Team Flanders Baloise, managing this one carefully. The Team Flanders Baloise squad, of course, of Tom Crabbe, in fine sprinting form so far this year. A couple of victories already to his name. Jules Hesters is a rider who's been in the top 3 in the Tour of Turquie in recent seasons in stages, so he knows the race well, knows the particular rhythms of the racing in this particular country. And well, Jules Hesters, another rider there to support for the Team Flanders Baloise squad. For Alpecin Premier Tech, Simon Dehairs, fresh, you might say, or at least with a fresh memory of his stage victory into Antalya 12 months ago in the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. He'll be up to try and repeat former glories. And the Team Picnic Post NL squad, as we mentioned, Casper van Uden is their go-to man today. Plenty of other teams, though, with plenty of skin in the game and belief that they can produce something.
Yeah, of course. We have Fernando Gaviria, who's in great form at the moment for Caja Rural Seguros RGA. He might not have the same lead-out train that he had at previous teams, but he is surrounded by some good riders on his team. They've got great GC riders, and I think he's got some good guys around him who could lead him up nicely into today's finish here in Selçuk. We've also got, yeah, like we said, Tom Crabbe is a big one to watch today. I would be looking also at Lonardi. Yeah, we've Stanisław Anielkowski is also in good form for Cofidis. So yeah, it could go to any one of the teams really, but I think that the main one to watch today for me would be either Simon Dehairs or Tom Crabbe.
It's a very strong sprint lineup, it has to be said. There's some clear strength, and this is one of the strongest riders in the sprint lineup. Simon Dehairs, we've been talking about him. His team have been on the front, but he's clearly in a bit of bother. He's got a rear wheel puncture, heading back for a little bit of help. 21.6 kilometers remaining. It's not exactly ideal, but should be time enough to recover from this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure on that. I mean, he's got a great team around him who can help bring him back to the bunch should he have a big gap when he's got his wheel change or a bike change. So I wouldn't be too worried. He's got the likes of Jonas Rickard with him, so not to worry just yet.
Yeah, he's got big engines there to try and power him back to the front of the bunch, always assuming he can get quick services. The Cofidis squad go to the front. Lumpy profile, this 21.5 kilometers remaining, and still a little bit of up and down for the riders in the main peloton and indeed those up front to try and deal with. Go for a rear wheel change. Alpecin Premier Tech, no panic and no recourse to the spare bike. They believe there's plenty of time to get him back into the main peloton on his own bike. His number 1 bike, if you will. His number 11 bike, more specifically. And Simon Dehairs back, winding his way through the cavalcade. So still got cars in amongst him that I think will give him confidence that he'll be able to make his way back in time as the gap comes down well inside a minute now. Catch seems inevitable.
Yep, just 300 meters, and you've got it could be Sergio Samitier pulling on the front there for Cofidis and helping to bring that gap down really quickly, and he's got the whole Team Picnic Post NL team lined out behind him. But these roads are starting to get quite draggy, a bit rolly, so it's really difficult for the breakaway to keep working together when it's difficult to get into a rhythm. So I think that we'll start to see it drop down very quickly now.
Yeah, powerful contribution, that's to be sure. Cofidis squad want to make it as challenging and as difficult as it possibly could be. They've got Stanisław Anielkowski, who's a fine Polish sprinter for them, and well, Buchmann as well, 33-year-old German rider for the overall. And peppered through their lineup is a list of riders who are strong and capable, particularly in this kind of terrain against this kind of opposition. Weather conditions absolutely perfect today. 20 degrees Celsius, the maximum reached for the riders, and a little bit of wind out there coming off the Aegean Sea, but nothing too demanding and likely to split things up significantly. Down to 4 up front. And Michał Pomorski into the final 10 kilometers. Last man standing. It just starts to disintegrate, the break, as they come through the series of bends, and that little bit of wind perhaps meaning that Pomorski is just able to showcase his ability. He won the King of the Mountains climb. He then took the Treasures of Türkiye sprint. He then took the intermediate sprint, and then managed to be last man standing. Finally absorbed inside the final 10 kilometers as the teams start to assemble and get set now for the big bunch gallop.
Yeah, you can see teams starting to communicate, and they've all found their riders. And here we see Tom Crabbe of Team Flanders Baloise, and he's right beside, just where he needs to be, in the middle of the bunch, conserving energy, and with all of his teammates around him. Yep. So at 5k out, that's where you want to be.
So the yellow, blue and white colours of the Flanders Baloise squad have number 71, and that is Tom Crabbe, their Belgian prodigy, just 20 years of age, victories already this season in the Tour de Turquie and in Vuelta a Andalucía. It's a very, very compact peloton at the moment. Picnic Post NL in those navy blue colours with the orange stripes. We're going to try and get organised for their man, Casper van Uden, as we pick out Stanislav Anielkowski. The Cofidis squad invest to see if he can possibly produce for them. Polti Visip Malta, those white jerseys with the green sleeves and the red shorts. They have the significant figure of Giovanni Lunardi, the winner of the points classification in this event 12 months ago. He's got 5 top 10s in 2016. What has Giovanni Lunardi got to offer in today's finishing kick? With 5 kilometers remaining, it would be a remarkable thing if it didn't turn into a final bunch gallop. Plenty of teams want it. Van Uden we pick out. He's got a couple of teammates right behind him. He's got plenty of teammates in front of him. But as they jostle for position, the Picnic Post NL squad find themselves just a little bit further back. They're sort of in the second or third row. Up front, it's owned by the Team Polti Visip Malta squad on the right-hand side of your picture. Over on the opposite side, the ATT Investments team in the break all day. Now trying to see what they can do with perhaps Spanishek or maybe Bonishlavski. 4 and a bit K to go. Picnic Post NL find a way through on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, for the first time, we see the Solution Tech Nippo Rally squad. They've got Tilio Viviani, perhaps looking for what would be a breakthrough win for him in 2026. They roll through to the front, trying to maintain position. Inside 4 to go. The pace now pretty much, well, as close to as intense as it's going to be all day. Now the Flanders Baloise team, right-hand side of your picture, trying to propel their man, Tom Crabbe, into perfect and prime position.
Yeah, and we've got some riders who are a bit distant from their team. We've got the Modern Adventure Pro Cycling. They're not quite working as cohesively as a team in the lead into this sprint finish, but Team Flanders Baloise doing some great work, keeping the pace high as they're coming into the final 3k.
Yeah, that right-hander was one of the final significant sort of appointments or important points to be at the front. They've got a hairpin coming with 2 kilometers remaining. Everybody's going to want to own it. Modern Adventure Pro Cycling drag race right up the middle to see if they can take command in those burgundy jerseys. The white jerseys, green sleeves, red shorts of Team Polti Visip Malta. We're starting to see Equipo Kern Pharma trying to get into position in those green jerseys towards the right-hand side of the picture. They kind of get swallowed up a little bit, but Mark Brustenga is a rider for them. Now the MBH squad start to arrive. Davide Persico, one of a raft of really strong Italian riders to watch out for as his MBH squad own it on the front of the peloton. Here come the Tartaletto Isorex, purple and yellow colours. Timothy Dupont, oldest man in the bike race. Could it be for him?
Yeah, and as they're coming into a really important turn in the race, I think it's going to be, positioning is going to be a real fight here. And you can see that the pace is really starting to pick up. Maybe some riders are getting a bit lost and they're not as, teams aren't working as cohesively as they were just, you know, maybe a couple of kilometers ago. So real fight for position here and fight to keep an eye on your teammate and keep together as a team.
Well, it's going to be a dive bomb into this hairpin with 2 kilometers remaining. Ballerini for the Astana squad just plunges down. I wonder how Lev Gonov is feeling. He's won a stage in this race 12 months ago. Could be a man to try and propel into position. Ballerini himself, not a bad sprinter, so pretty good set of legs and a great engine to have. Are they all going to make it through that challenging hairpin? Look good as they make it through. So it's a clean ride out of the hairpin and towards the final kilometre.
Yeah, we've got some teams starting to split. The Peloton starting to split on each side of the road. Team Picnic, Post NL, in really nice formation there. Everybody close on each other's wheels.
Yeah, everybody wants to be there, but not quite on the front, close to the front. Kolnagi for the Bardiani squad. They're trying to move him into position. Kurt Farmer on the right-hand side in those green colours for Brustenge. Can Brustenge possibly deliver? The Modern Adventure Pro Cycling in the left, but it's the Picnic Post NL on the front at the moment for the for Casper van Uden as they head towards the kite in the final 1,000 metres. Looking good at the moment for Picnic Post NL. Have they got enough riders? Here come the Alpecin squad in those blue jerseys, white helmets on the right-hand side, just starting to ease towards the front. Simon Dehairs made his way back after his puncture, safely there and available to go for glory today. It's the Alpecin Premier Tech squad against Picnic Post NL. They own it on the front. 2 World Tour squads. Can the other teams move into position, and others trying to move up? Modern Adventure Pro Cycling have a couple of riders to lead out and to present their man into position. Also jockeying for position and trying to find a way and thread a way through at the moment is Team Flanders Baloise as they move towards the final 500 metres. And it's the Alpecin Premier Tech squad. Dehairs sitting second in line. He's absolutely ready to fire. Simon Dehairs ready to go as we move into the final 200 metres. Now he launches his sprint. Dehairs, the Belgian, from the front for the Alpecin Premier Tech. Gaviria is there as well. And they're all trying to move into position, but coming with a late run on the middle of the road is Tom Crabbe. Tom Crabbe up the middle for the Team Flanders Baloise squad. Gets the glory, gets the victory on stage 1. And it's Tom Crabbe that pinches that one at the death from Simon Dehairs. Beautifully executed and wonderfully timed sprint from the Belgian Tom Crabbe as Team Flanders Baloise come up with victory and glory on day 1 of the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. Let's get a look at it again.
Yeah, and now you see here, you see Simon Dehairs perfectly launch his sprint on the right-hand side of the road. And it just seems like at the last moment, Simon Dehairs had a little bit of an issue, and that's where Tom Crabbe just comes powering through, and he takes it by half a bike length maybe on the line, but he really seems to have come from nowhere. He was tucked right in, and here you can see that Simon Dehairs almost on the first line as they're coming towards the finish, that he unclips his pedal, and it just completely kills the sprint and that of the riders behind him. And that's when Tom Crabbe comes through and just grabs that on the finish line. And it's a really amazing win for Tom Crabbe, a former European under-23 elimination race track champ. So track cyclist turned now a pro race stage winner. Strong roadie, absolutely stunning. 3rd success of the year for the 20-year-old Tom Crabbe. He is flying high. I wonder how he felt about that one. Thrilled, no doubt.
You were super motivated. Now you just watched the replay of your win. What goes through your mind?
I think I'm gonna have to watch it back quite a few times because yeah, I just came from so far. We were really good with the team, but you know, with the U-turn at 2Ks to go, it was quite hectic. But yeah, I mean, the team did a super good job. Even though we lost each other a bit in the final, everybody was as motivated as I was, and we really made a plan. And yeah, we stick to it, and in the end it was hectic, but it worked out. I'm just super happy.
You're a very young rider. What are your specific skills for winning this stage?
Just I think instinct, you know, just trying to find the gap, and you know, being quite explosive, which can help out quite a few times that maybe I'm too far back like today. I can just really push hard from quite far, and today it was really necessary because it came, I think I was in first place only at 20 meters to go, so I really needed to be a long sprint today.
You started the season really well with stage win at Étoile de Bessèges, Route del Sol. Did you expect to win? What does it mean for you to win now after the one-day races in Belgium?
Yeah, it means a lot. The one-day races weren't quite as I planned, and it was just, yeah, it was really hard to keep my head up sometimes because I just expected so much more. But maybe that was a thing that I bothered too much about, that the expectations were too high. And I came here with no expectations, just, you know, trying to have fun and try to do my job as best as I can. And yeah, if the head's there, then the legs are there too. And that was necessary, I think.
Winning stage one of the Tour of Turkey is something Jasper Philipsen, for example, has done recently. Do you see your future at that level?
I hope so. I mean, it's quite a big name. I think now is just trying to develop myself as best as I can, and we'll see where we get.
Proficiat.
Thank you. Merci.
He's developing well, isn't he, as Tom Crabbe takes a glorious success for Team Flanders Baloise ahead of Simon Dehairs. Davide Persico, Ramazan Yilmaz getting up for a fine fourth place, the best placed of the local riders. Jason Tesson next up for France, and for Total Energy, Gaviria, Henneken, Chetolin Lenardi and Timothy Dupont rounding out the top 10. And well, it's a trip to the podium for Tom Crabbe as he takes the overall race lead into stage 2. Also leads on points, and it is the man from the early break, Michal Pomorski, that leads the Treasures of Türkiye and indeed the King of the Mountains competition into day 2.